Hello and welcome back for game two. Ian O'Brien on the left playing Scape Shift, one game up against Joe Fletcher with his blue-white angel deck. Joe Fletcher gets to start this game too, but what will we have seen from the sideboards here?
We might have seen a few more sort of point and squirt counter spells from Joe. I think we'll see like spell piercers and things like that.
Do you think maybe he'll board out his mana leaks?
Maybe not. He still has to fight Ian on a counterspell war. Ian, for his part, has 4 Dispel in his sideboard. I imagine they will have come in as well. So he's just going to have an absolute plethora of counter spells in his deck now.
Is there any way for Joe to be a bit more aggressive in this game?
I think so. I think he's just going to have to sort of slam cards down and just things like Geist of Saint Traft, etc., and just try and break through Ian's defences as much as he possibly can.
I mean, there's no reason why not to think they're going to resolve. Certainly if Ian's counterspells are mainly going to be things like spell pierces.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of spells that can't counter creatures.
So a turn 3 Geist could well just ride the whole way home.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, imagine Ian probably would have took out his Pyroclasms.
Maybe he might have kept 1 or 2 in, but I don't know. It might just be a straight swap Pyroclasm for Dispel. So
I mean, he's no reason to keep them in. He saw nothing in game 1 to suggest Joe had any 2 toughness guys.
Yeah. Joe having to think about Peer Through Depths there and then just deciding that it resolves. So Ian's looking at the top 5 cards here. And he comes up with a Cryptic Command and puts the rest at the bottom of his library. Many variants printed on the old Impulse, and it's one of the better ones as far as combo decks go. Ian pushing his lands further and further into Joe's zone here. Going to attack you with my basic land.
Joe certainly likes his F&M foils.
Yeah, he does. A little bit of pimpage to the deck. You know, there's a Zendikar Plains as well, full art Plains. Still not forgiven for the whiteboard of mana leaks, to tell you the truth. But see, Joe can afford to be a little bit more aggressive in the early game because there's no way Ian can kill him over the next couple of turns anyway. So he should certainly spend the first few turns trying to establish somewhat of a board
and more
presence.
importantly, it gets counterspells out of Ian's hand if Ian does have them, because when it comes to the bigger war over Escape Shift, you certainly don't want Ian having a grip full of cards at that point.
No, you certainly don't. And Joe just fires in a Restoration Angel main phase here.
In an attempt to flicker his war.
Well, he knows that Ian's going to have Cryptic Command if he tries to play it during Ian's turn, so he might as well get it down now, try and resolve it. He knows it's immune to Pyroclasm if indeed Ian still has those.
Well, the best time to do it would be during Ian's upkeep.
That would be a good time.
Make him waste his mana. Or indeed in response to any sort of end of turn Peer Through Depths, something like that.
And as you can see here, Ian has a complete grip full of cards here, so...
Well, does he have that 4th land, is the important thing.
I think we can see it at the edge of his cards. He's also got a Snapcaster Mage for the Peer Through Depths that's in his graveyard. And there's Misty Rainforest.
But he knows, more importantly now, that there's a clock on him.
It's not the fastest clock in the world, but at least it is a clock.
Well, it's certainly fast enough to beat Scape Shift.
Especially the fact I mean, we have talked to Ian regarding his deck, and he's taken out quite a lot of the ramp that Scape Shift decks are famous for in favour of more counter spells. So in that case, it does make his deck that bit slower. He's only playing 4 Sakura Tribelder, 4 Search for Tomorrow. He doesn't have the Farseeks and Rampant Growths that maybe other Scape Shift decks will have. Cracking his Misty Rainforest at end of turn there. Another basic island, which is obviously needed if he wants to start casting Cryptic Commands.
Well, this is the position Joe wants to be in, where he can just pass the turn with untapped lands and a threat on the board.
I'm surprised Ian didn't go through for the other peer through depths there, but maybe he's just setting up.
I think he's maybe worried about a second Restoration Angel coming down.
Potentially.
And he's got the Cryptic Command for bouncing the first one if he gets the opportunity.
Yep, just says go there. Maybe he's hoping to bait Joe into casting Restoration Angel so he can counter and bounce it.
Well, the thing is, yeah, I mean, the thing is, Joe knows there's a Cryptic Command in Ian's hand, so he's not going to play another Restoration Angel. He's certainly not going to tap out for it, because it means he'll end up with no Restoration Angels at the end of the turn.
He now also has the mana to start activating that Colonnade. Really, the magic number Ian's looking for here is 8.
Yeah, again, we won't see the Colonnade activating at all.
Well, it really depends, because as I said, Ian's got to have 8 lands in play.
Ian's going to respond just by bouncing the Restoration Angel and possibly tapping the Colonnade with a Cryptic Command, and then being able to untap and put his own sort of threat down.
Yeah, and I suppose it only increases the clock by 1 turn anyway, so... Looks like Ian's actually missing his 6th land here, and since he needs 8 in play to kill Joe from 20, that's a little bit of a worry.
He's also going to lose any counter war with just 5 mana.
Yep. And he plays Sakura Tribalder, so...
This is probably actually quite a good card to get into a counter war over, because Joe has a Spell Snare in his deck.
Yep. Joe using one of his mana leaks there to see what's what for me inside. He'll also tap him out if he pays for it.
That's right. I mean, if Ian pays the 3 here, Joe can either just follow it up with a Vendilion Click or another Restoration Angel, and that pretty much should be that once he's untapped.
Yeah, and Ian just decides to let the Tribalder go, and Joe's going to cast the Restoration Angel anyway here.
But the reason Joe did it that way is he knew he doesn't have Cryptic Commands now.
Yeah, because he didn't lay the 4th land there. In fact, it would have been quite good if Ian had just laid his 6th land after playing the Sakura Tribalder there, but I don't think you'd have seen this Restoration Angel attempted if that was the case.
No, it would be a silly play to make.
And Ian's going to remand the Restoration Angel.
But really now at this point Joe can just play it back out during his own turn. That would be the best play.
Yep. And Ian's completely stuck.
Ian can't go off next turn, so... Swing for 3, play another Angel.
Or at this point, yeah, he's actually going to activate his Colonnade, because the Colonnade does have Vigilance. So he's still going to have mana leak up if he wants, and in for 7, and that puts Ian on dead next turn.
Well, again, likewise, an Angel would have done the same thing, put him dead next turn.
Yeah.
Plus also drawn him an extra card with the Wall of Omens.
I think at this point Joe knows that he's in absolutely no danger of dying. I think Ian's realising that Angel's going to get him next turn. Maybe lamenting the little bit of screw he ended up with in this game. Just says go.
So all he can do is play a Cryptic Command and hope Joe has absolutely no answer for it.
Yep, his play here is basically Cryptic Command, tap the Angel, bounce the Celestial Colonnade.
Which is why I would prefer playing another Angel.
I mean, either way, would have done, the play would be exactly the same. Just tap all your creatures, bounce Celestial Colonnade. And there is that mode. He has to bounce the Celestial Colonnade as well, otherwise Joe can just...
Well, it's not a creature.
Well, it's one of those things where Joe can declare attackers, and because of that, Ian has to tap the angel and bounce the colonnade, because otherwise Joe can just activate his colonnade and attack. But Joe had the mana leak for the cryptic command there, and we are done for game 2 and moving on to a final game.